Man, look out, I was going to help with a little install of these EAG Fender flares that I got. I'll slap a picture of them up. I got them off eBay. These were my stock Fenders. I got some 3-inch spacers on here. They're probably going to come off. Not 3-inch, I'm sorry. 2-inch spacers. They stick out wide, but these are probably, what, 4-inch? I mean, I got an additional, well, that sits flush on there. There's probably additional 3 inches on this thing. I done put 3 on. Put this one on the other side and the other front one. And I'm actually going to take these spacers off, slide these on, because I don't know the offset on these wheels that are on it. I bought this thing used, so we're going to take the spacers off and slap them in there and see if these tires will turn and get good clearance on it. And I'm probably going to leave the spacers off. You look down the side of this thing, a lot of tires sticking out. A lot of mud gets thrown on this thing, and I hate getting a hold of that dirty door handle. Muddy, especially when bow season comes up. Boy. So anyway, there's a stock one. And you can see the back one, and I'll show you the other side of this front one just to give you an idea. This one's already put on. A lot of stuff. And they said it's a 4-piece kit, but it's actually 6 pieces. You have your fenders and then these 2 pieces right here. I'm actually going to do some sliding and get this thing up against there just so it ain't separate, and I'll show you how to do that. These things are kind of, when I pull this, I had these little stock things. They're out here as well. Go grab one. See which one we're looking at. The same ones. Okay. Those bolt holes. I think the same one. Hold on. Bolt holes kind of lined up. 3 and 3. You can see what I did on this one. I'll show you why. It was 3 simple holes. Well, when I put this thing, I pulled the other one off stock, and I just matched one hole up. This one was kind of off, and this one was kind of off. So basically on the other side I left this hole alone, drilled it in, and then just kind of went off to the side with a drill bit, kind of watered it out left and right. And stock ones are actually like that. You can see where it allows some shim. I did that with this one. I only did this hole and this hole on the other side, but I'm going to take it back off and ream them out so I can shim this thing forward, and you'll see why. Let's start off. I went ahead and did all 3 holes so I can shim it, and we'll just put this one in. This is the assembly for the front fender. I like to get this one on first. I'm just going to put the center bolt in right now, kind of get it snug where it doesn't spin when I let it go like that. And I'm going to adjust this way. We'll put this fender on and we'll match it up just how I have the other one. I got it flush at the front on that one, then back here I'm about a 1/4 inch high. But once I kind of match that fender up with the other side how I want to do it, I can loosen this bolt up and shimmy that forward or backwards to butt it up against there, and actually stick the other bolts in where I wallered it out. Just give me some shimmy room. And the stock stuff come off. This plate was in here. This one went to the back. What I had to do on the other side, I take my grinder, just kind of ream around, because where that hole is, this wants to bite up in that corner. So I'm just going to ream around that and use this, because I mean, that's like a super washer right there to me. This one right here was in the front. It doesn't serve any purpose. This thing is a lot wider than the stock one, so basically all this is necessary. I just kind of stuck in there and pried it out a little bit just to keep this from flexing down if I have to, more or less, you know what I'm saying. And this will serve as a pretty big washer too for that post as well, right in there. So I'm going to leave this thing on there. But for now, just going to hand tighten that one, and we'll leave it like it is. Once we get this other one, get up here set like I want, we will do a punch. I made a pretty long punch. I had a drill bit, but these things are so big. They're long. My drill bit was about right here, and I was afraid I was going to hit it with the hammer, so I took an old pegboard deal that I've got in my room, a little double deal you hook and stick it in there. I just cut that off and then ground me a sharp point on the end, so at least I'm out here when I tap for my marks. They said that it aligns with the existing holes. There's the existing holes. This is nowhere near close to those. Had to drill new ones for every one of these, but that's okay. That ain't no big deal. Basically, when you get all this off, there's the light that plugs in. And how I'm going to do this, I'll get my boy out here in a minute. I'm going to stick the light in there, and the two screws that come with it, they're longer than the stock screws that come out to hold that in. We're going to set that up in there, stick the light in there, and kind of screw it down. Then I'll adjust left and right and up and down how I want it. And we'll just kind of hold it. Then I'll ping it. Then I'll go back and drill it, set the holes, stick it back on. This booger will be done, but I'll show you that process. There's a little rubber stuff that came with this stuff. It's not on there. You have to put that on and do that inside. If you're planning on putting these on, just sit down one day in the living room, whatnot, while I cleaned up the inside. The inside is where it's sticky. That red stuff is actually, you peel, I peeled about a quarter of an inch back or so, and the red side goes to the inside. That's actually the tape. I peeled back a quarter of an inch and actually got it on there and shimmied it forward. And I say that as I peeled the tape where I could get out here and get a hold of it once I had it set, and I pulled a little bit. I do about 6 to 8 inches. You kind of work this over that lip, get it where that's not tucked under anything. Get it good and snug. Do about 6 or 8 inches of that, and I pull the tape, kind of pull it down so you're pulling it this way. If you pull your tape up, you're gonna pull this thing off where it's not sticking. So I just grabbed the tape and worked it down. I had about 6 or 8 inches. I need my thumb across it just to press it tight. Slip it on a little more and go around. That was kind of tedious. That took a while, but like I said, before you anticipate putting your fenders on, you can do this in the living room. Like I said, I cleaned the outside of that with alcohol and a rag just so the tape would adhere to it pretty good. And you only do this for the 4 fenders. You don't do it for the little, I don't know what they call those, kick plates. Damn sure ain't a step plate. You ain't stepping on that. You will, but you'll do it one time. So anyways, there's that. And there's a dog sitting on a shoe. Additionally, I can show you the hardware on this thing. Some of the reviews I saw, people said they cracked. They were showing pictures up underneath there. These split. But if you look, there's nowhere for this to be, I say, mounted flush. Let's say here's your Jeep wall. There's a gap right there. So if you run that screw too tight, you're pulling that down and snugging it. So that's the only drawback. If these were flush somehow, if it had some other flush tabs where you could put some additional support so you wouldn't have to put so much pressure on these, it'd be awesome. I think it's just get them snug where this is touching and see how that rides. So here's how that setup works. This was all supplied. You got 4 skinny screws, and these are going to be for your turn signal marker lamps on your Jeep, where the light goes in here, comes out here. The other, like I said, the stock screws are smaller than that. So these little things in here, and it came with some silver little caps. Basically, they went, once these screws were in here, that black that black plastic piece, there's a silver cap in there that snaps over that. Looks, just kind of covers up your silver screw. I don't like them. Heard they fall off. I don't care. I don't want them anyways. Probably find a way to paint these screw heads black. So anyways, getting back to it, the little black rings on there, I'd stick them on there. Even if you're not going to use the caps, that'll serve as a decent washer. So you can tell, I'll hold that flush. That's what hits against your Jeep. Let me turn this around. There's where it goes into your Jeep. So if you really sink that thing in, all that right there is just space, and that's what these are for. They're rubber washers that slides on. So basically when you sink it down, you're squeezing that. So you can actually, this ain't gonna stop it, so that's gonna squish. So if you actually bind down that thing, you're squishing it, and at the same time you're pulling that way. And if it doesn't crack immediately, it's probably gonna crack over time, just going down the road with vibration and whatnot. So like what I did on those three, I just bumped it until the lip of this thing touched up, and I snugged them all like that. And I'll go back and check them after I drive for a while, but rather be a little too loose and tighten them in than come back and all these things are cracked. So I think that was a big problem. That's probably install error more than the product itself, but we'll see. I'm not reviewing the longevity of them, I'm reviewing how to install these, and that's just one thing to look for. So here in a second, I'll get my little mini-me out here, and we're going to throw this thing on and show you how we did it. It's pretty simple. Like I said, the front ones are the hardest, basically, because you have that little deal. But like I said, if you do what I did, just make you a left and bore out them holes where you can shimmy that left and right. Once I get this installed, I'm going to take that thing and slide it forward where it's butted up against this instead of having that space. So that'll probably keep some wind rattlage out of that. Kind of just keep a little secure. I got Miss Pretty out here gonna help me.
You'll make me burn my dinner.
Alright, what we're gonna do, I'm not telling her, I'm telling y'all, but she's getting told at the same time. We're gonna put this in. We're gonna line them holes up. Is that one lined up?
No.
Quit pulling against me. Let me do it.
There you go. Wrong way.
Tight, but I'm gonna get it where it's kind of smooth.
You over tighten stuff anyway.
So
here, you can help Daddy.
I'm looking at this one. That one's flush. That's flush and that's flush. I'm gonna look for that.
Ernie,
Did you already drill those?
oh no.
No, I didn't. So what you don't want to do is shimmy this left or right, because it'll pull that off of there and kind of peel that back. So, like I said, that rubber stuff, just kind of let it relax. And on the other side, that was flush, so we're going to keep this flush. And I don't have to move up or down. I basically just got to push in. That's what he's going to do in a second.
Well, who's gonna do?
On the other side, I wasn't flush at the bottom here, so I was about a 1/4 inch high, so I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So without Alright. Do my drill. Reverse these out. Pull this back out. Put the bolt spacer on. Just slide that on.
Don't you gotta drill the holes first?
Yes, I do. Not first. I put these on and then slide the rubber thing down where the point's not sticking out, where it's just right there, because when you're shimmying on here. If you got one, you get up higher, and what you're doing, you're going to scratch your exposed areas. And that's good. You can turn it either way, they're not going to fall out. I'm going to set that booger right back to it. Bring yourself. So there's our bolt holes. We put this down, we get that cinched on, then we can work with this. We can shimmy it forward or backwards, and it's easy. Like I said, I only got one bolt on there. I can take it off and shim left or right, because we're going to scoot this thing up against that. This boy don't want to help.
I'm going to do stuff for my rabbits. I got fish up in cages.
Not gonna sink them in. Just gonna get them started. Close enough. Gotta get underneath that. You see, you gotta be careful with this trim. Like I just slid over that and kind of want to. You want to stick on there and up against it and then slide it up and mess that up. I want this stuff to just mash flush with it. And here we go. It's confirmed. My bolt holes were good. So there we go. I'm just gonna run it right up against there. Like I said, you've seen how that washer will squish. So if you apply too much pressure in there, it's up against there. See that pulling all that up there against it. I'm gonna kind of leave this loose right now so I can feed my light thing into there. This was kind of a tight fit. Kind of want to squeeze it light, so you might want to just be careful. If you bind it down too hard, you might crack your stop light. Perfect, that went in. What's this one gonna do? Perfect. So I just ease that forward, and I'm watching right there. I want to just kind of suck that up, but I don't want to get too stupid and bow this light out. Make sure the light's pretty flush in there. We'll right up against the trim, so see what I'm doing here. Be careful with these impact screws, boys. So see, I have my fenders right there. I'm just enough to get that in. I wouldn't go much further than that. Just kind of leery about that crack and stuff. So that rubber should keep it pretty good. And watch right here how it's gonna kind of draw in. I'd say that's enough. I'd rather be underpower than come and check it and see what it does later than to overpower, and for sure it cracked. So now, like I explained a while ago, I got these other bolts. There's two more bolts. There's one there, and well, I can't roll that down far enough. You see it's right here. This one's gonna go here. Like I said, I'm just gonna use that same plate, and I kind of like that, just up against it. So we're gonna bolt that thing in. You kind of see how that's done. A little too far. Squish it back in. Okay. For some reason, this one was a little different. This tab actually sat pretty high. It was about half an inch up there, so I ground the curve off. Pretty much got it flush to where this little top of that bolt is. I know it'll fit now because I see plenty of space in there. Sit down right here with me. Get it up in there. Feel much better. So that one's tight. That's a stock deal. Like I said, that one's a stock. I don't know if the camera's pointed right. I just kind of bent that tab out just to get a little extra additive support for that thing. So that's it. Like I said, you'll notice how long that took. It wasn't bad. The longest part is taking your stock ones off, getting in there, holding those little plastic things. But for sure, once again, just make sure you don't over tighten them things. Like I said, you see how that works, that little plastic deal. I showed you how to put the last one on. And that's basically, I say the hardest part, it's not, but just thinking this ain't gonna mess you up because they don't lock in together. But like I said, if you drill them holes like that, and you can shimmy it left or right and kind of up and down. You see I had to drill a hole, it doesn't matter. I get that, use that flat piece of aluminum that came off the Jeep, and that's a pretty good solid washer, so that watered out hole. Quick one. Told you about some plastic caps that came with it. Little Phaco Allen head setting on there, I guess is for show. Those actually snap onto those if you want to see what that look like. I'm not too much on them. I heard they pop off. They probably do. I bet if you slap some silicone in there and slap it on there, probably hold them there if you really wanted these, but I don't. I'm gonna black them screws out. Be done with it. I'll haul on these in case I change my mind. There is one thing to take in mind on these things with these aftermarket fenders. The bolt holes didn't match up like I said earlier, but if you'll notice, there's a lot of space under here. Original fender drill holes are here, so this one's okay because the Jeep's kind of green. You got a darker color, black or whatever, it may be cool, but if you had a white Jeep, all this stuff right under here is going to be white. You're going to see that, and that would be the only thing I could see, but like I said, it's dark on this one, so that looks good. You would see all that white. That was white paint, and kind of for the front as well. From this corner you can see back in here, that's a good 3 inches. Kind of narrows down up in there, but you got to get down for that. But just from the side view, you'd see white right in there. You see a bunch of it on there, pretty much in these corner pockets, probably like from here down. So that'd be the only thing I could think of if you were wondering about these things. But that's them in a nutshell. I think they turned out all right.